everyone, my name is Karen. This is MissKarenKinseyShrinking. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. This is definitely not the video that I had planned to be my first redo video to come back onto YouTube. I did horribly attempt to be on YouTube maybe 18 months ago, and it was foul. It was so bad that I've actually deleted those videos and they're never to be seen again. Well, they're in like a special folder that like I look at when I'm sad to remind myself that, you know what, if it's not as bad as that, nowhere near. Anyway, so what I wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about today is distorted eating. So when I very first decided to make this channel, it was my main aim to educate people and to discuss weight loss surgery, weight loss, nutrition, life after bariatric surgery, all of that stuff, but didn't really work out that way. So I have had bariatric surgery. I had gastric bypass surgery in January of 2017, where I weighed 147.9 kilos. So I'll put down what that is in pounds. I don't know what that is in pounds. It's big. And I was able to lose 50 kilos. I believe the lowest weight I got down to was 94 point something kilos, and that was about a year and a half ago, maybe longer. Unfortunately, life happens in that process, and I started to gain some weight back and started to sort of get stuck in certain mindsets, and it was really, really difficult to get out of that and start losing weight again. So about 3 months ago, I would say, I really started to have a look at what it was that held me back from losing more weight. I knew that it was definitely a mental struggle, because what you don't know about weight loss surgery is it's the mental aspect that does more in than the food, which is obviously, the food is a huge thing, obviously, but what you have to deal with is your mind and the way that that plays tricks on you, and I'll get into that as well in another future video. But anyway, I wanted to get into that, but I realized that if I was going to come on here and tell you guys about my story and share some of my wisdom and the highs and the lows and the funny stuff and the awful stuff, then I'm going to have to be pretty honest. And the honesty is, I don't eat vegetables. I don't eat them. I have not eaten a vegetable since I was 8 years old. Now, that may come as a shock to many people, because how are you living? How do you eat? What do you eat? I'll get there. So basically what I wanted to talk about was my journey with getting over this distorted eating problem that I have. I have tried to get help for this for the last 20 years, with my mum's help as well, with my family's help. They are very, very supportive of my terrible eating. They would love me to eat vegetables and actually be able to share a meal with them properly without me, you know, being a bit different and being a bit difficult, but I think it's so ingrained in everyone that everyone knows I don't eat vegetables. Everyone knows that it's not going to happen. That they just know what, you know, they just know. They're very good people. So let's talk about how this all began. I've been to several therapists and stuff in my 30, nearly 31 years of life, and the vegetable problem has always popped up, because the question that everyone asks you is, you know, are you healthy? What does your diet look like? And I was quite an overweight child, shocking, and the question was always, what does she eat? What is she eating? What's a day on her plate look like? All of that stuff. And the one thing that was always missing was fruit and vegetables. And the question always popped up, why doesn't she eat fruit or vegetables? When did this begin? How did this start? And it was always blamed at my mum, like she was a bad parent for not giving me fruit or vegetables, which was not the case. I want to put a massive disclaimer here, because I know a lot of people are going to go straight for the jugular of my mother. She tried. My God, did she try. When you are the parent of a child with a pretty severe mental health problem, like I was, I do not blame her for not pushing the subject. I don't at all blame her because I know what my reactions were, and they were severe. I would have full-blown panic attacks where I would vomit. I would flip out. It was like someone seeing a spider. That's probably the best way I can really put it. The fear of vegetables and eating them, and actually like eating them, was pretty similar to someone who's afraid of spiders being in a room full of spiders. Or like that show Fear Factor. You could have paid me $20,000 to eat broccoli and I wouldn't eat the broccoli. Like there was nothing. And I've been bribed. I have been all sorts, you know, if you eat this I'll give you $50. Stick your $50, I'm not eating it. And it became so embarrassing to try them. I stopped trying them because the reactions were so severe and just ridiculous. I'd be in, you know, I would go to, say, a pub and I would order a burger, and I would order the burger without lettuce and tomato on it, and it would be made incorrectly. They'd maybe put a piece of tomato on there. I would flip my shit. And it wasn't just like normal people that don't like something, I'll take it off, whatever, I'll eat it. I can smell it on there. And the seeds, they're on my stuff. I can smell it, I can feel it, it's like, and it became an obsession. That's where the problems really began, when I'm in my elder years. In my adult life is when the obsession of, you know, how food's prepared, who's preparing my food, you know, that stuff really started to get on in there. But anyway, let's go back to when I was a kid. So I would always be, you know, questioned, you know, who prepares your food at home? My mum does. Great, what does she prepare? I would say what my mum and my sister would be eating. They'd be thinking, great, that's amazing. Like, what's going on? Why is she huge? Because I wouldn't be eating that. I would be eating, say, the steak and the potatoes. And then I would have, you know, other crap. I would do almost anything to try and get out of eating vegetables. I would eat around them. I would hide them on the side of my plate. I'd hide them under my plate. I would put them in my hand. I would spit them out and put them in my bag. I would do the most to try and avoid any type of vegetable in my diet. I would do anything. And you become very sly, and you're very good at lying. Like, I know now, I reflect on it now, and when I was much bigger, I would not want to eat around people because I wouldn't want them to see what kind of food I was ordering, or the quantity of food, or hear my very complicated order, because it would have, say, let's say we went to McDonald's. I would have, you know, okay, if I went to McDonald's and I was my old weight, I would order a large double quarter pounder meal, no pickle, no onion, add mayonnaise with a Coke, and then 10 nuggets with aioli. That was my order, and it was fantastic. Oh, missed that. Now I can eat 3 nuggets at a maximum with possible vomit. That's the forecast for that meal. I've completely gone off topic again. So how did this happen? Well, we have gone to many different nutritionists, dietitians, psychologists, psychiatrists, everywhere but narcissists, really, to find out exactly why I don't eat vegetables. Because there was no real pinpointed moment that I was like, I'm not eating that. But there was a pinpointed time of my life where things were really, really hectic, up in the air and out of my control. When my dad passed away, I was 8 years old, and things were very, very chaotic. I had a very small sister who was 18 months old. I had a mum, obviously, and things were just out of the control. In a matter of a month, my dad passed away, we moved house, I changed schools, and I had to just cope with life and be with life. So we're thinking that all of those changes all coming into one was sort of the catalyst for that just breaking down. And the only thing that I could control was what I consumed. So that's where we're thinking that it began. So like I said, I've been to psychiatrists and dietitians and nutritionists and all sorts, you know, that look at me like I've got 10 heads. When I say that I don't eat vegetables, and they think, well, that's crap, of course you do. Here you are standing upright, you know, you're alive. Well, yes, I'm alive. I'm full of potato, but I'm alive. And it sort of was like, okay, well, I guess if she's, you know, if she's alright, so alright, do what you have to do. No one ever tried. No one ever tried. In my child years, my teenage years, my early 20s, no one tried. I asked and no one tried. It was just too hard basket. She must have just severe mental health issues. Well, yes, but it's not just that. Anyway, and as my weight got bigger, they would look more at the fact that this is high, that's high, blah, 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 blah. You need to eat vegetables or you'll die. Helpful. Can you help me in that regard? Just eat them. What? Because I haven't thought of that already. Thanks a lot. So it was just so much of just not helpful. And I decided that I was going to stop trying to get help because it was just becoming so embarrassing to have the conversation with a medical professional who looked at me like I was insane. Which I'm used to that, but that's usually in like a psychology setting, like not at your GP, you know? So that was that. And then I think it was maybe a few months ago that I realized that there's no more. If I want to do well and I want to live a better life and feel better and maybe one day have kids and, you know, be a healthy role model, I have to start eating properly. I have to practice what I preach. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to face some really ugly things and some ugly demons and find out exactly what it is that's holding me back from eating vegetables. This just sounds so dumb, but I'm gonna have to do it. So I have decided to try hypnotherapy. Pause for effect. So I have done so much research on vegetable phobias and there isn't really much about. So I decided to make my own little, I'm not going to call it a documentary because that would imply that I actually know what I'm doing and I have no idea what I'm doing. So let's just call this a tester. So I'm going to document my entire process with hypnotherapy. So my first session is next Thursday, so that's the 20-something of April. So I will vlog myself going to hypnotherapy. After the hypnotherapy session, I'm obviously not going to do the filming of the actual hypnotherapy because that's, I mean, so that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to see if this works because apparently it's to do with your subconscious. So if my subconscious is telling me not to eat vegetables or preventing me from eating vegetables, maybe I need to work on that. And I'm not someone who is good at meditation, so this should be an absolute riot. So yeah, that should be so fun. So if you're interested and have any comments or questions, please be kind. It's my first video and it's a pretty deep one, so leave your comments down below. Feel free to ask me any questions about it. Maybe you yourself are going through something like that. Maybe you've recovered from something like that. I'd love to know about it because I seem to be the only one in the village and it's a pretty lonely village. I'd like some friends. So all of my social media will be down there as well if you'd like to follow me, and please like and subscribe and tune in next time for my hypnosis vlog video. Have a great weekend, guys.